Okay, now that we're not looking at the shoes that I kind of want to buy, this is how I make the thumbnail that you noticed. So come to Canva, which is a free design site. And let me shrink my screen here just a little so that I can see everything. Go to Create a Design, YouTube Thumbnail. From here, I just click on basically the blank piece of paper, and I pick a bright color that I think will go well with whatever clothes I happen to be wearing. Usually I start with one of these colors, and then if I want to adjust it, you click on this little plus symbol and you can make it more or less. So let's make this even more intense. Then I come over here to my uploads. This is where every single picture is that I've ever added. So for instance, let's just pull one here and I drop it on. I see a lot of people with thumbnails where, like this one, they have a body that is cut off and they'll just leave it hanging there. So you kind of look like you're a decapitated human being, which does not work for me. I like me to be big because part of YouTube is branding yourself. So don't make yourself look like a tiny little decapitated creature on your thumbnail. Make yourself big, slide it over to where you want. Oh, it looks like my finger is cut off here. So I'm going to flip this around or choose a different one. I think I'm going to choose a different one. How about this one? Make it big, slide it out of the way so I have room for text. Sorry if there's a bunch of noise in the background. I've got 6 little boys over here for a sleepover. Then I'm going to come over here and grab some text. I'm going to add a headline. I want to make this big and bold so it's easy to see. So I'm going to pick a bold text, and again, this is another thing that is always going to end up being bigger than you think it has to be. All right, so one of your questions was, how do I get a textured looking background? So in a lot of my headlines lately, I've been adding like a triangle that kind of gives the impression of a spotlight. So I went over to Elements. I chose a triangle shape. If you grab this little swivel bar, you can change the direction. So we're going to make this look like a spotlight shining down on me. And then I'm going to make my triangle big, really big. Okay, I'm going to make my triangle a lighter colored pink. How about that? And then I'm going to move this to the back. So I come to position and hit backwards. If I just hit backwards one time, it just moved it behind the headline. So you may need to hit backwards a few times to get it behind all of the elements on your screen. I'm gonna rotate it. There we go. All right, then I like to add sort of a pixelated aspect. So lately I have been searching in Elements. I will type in pattern. And from here, it will bring up a lot of different patterns that I can use. I've been using this one. So I bring that over. And then I'm going to duplicate this because I want one for each side. So duplicate. Now I've got 2. I'm going to flip this one horizontally, and I'm going to put it over here. I've got this gap in the middle with nothing going on, so I'm going to make these a little bit bigger. Okay, I don't like how these are bumping into each other, so I'm just going to slide this one over a little. But now they're too dark, so I'm going to push those back so they're behind my picture and my headline. I'm going to push this one back. And then I'm going to change the transparency so they're lighter. This one I still need to push back a little further so it's behind me. Oh, okay, so you see what happened? I accidentally moved myself and I've changed my own. I need to move my pieces so that I can get to me. I don't want myself transparent and I don't want myself in the back. Okay, well, let's get me out of the way so I can fix this. There we go. Okay, and so this is starting to look good. Maybe I want to make this pop a little bit more. So I'm going to duplicate it. I'm going to make this duplicated one black. And then with the arrows on my keyboard, which is a more delicate, fine way to move, I'm going to move this. Okay, so now it looks like there's a white shadow behind my words. And you just have to play with it and decide how intense of a shadow you want. And let's add another element. Like, let's add an arrow. Pick one that looks good. How about this one? That's a little too big. So I'm going to shrink it down. And I'm going to flip it around to the direction that I want it. And I don't want pink. I already have too much pink going on. So I can change the color. Okay, now I'm noticing here that my spotlight got moved. Sometimes you have to move your elements so that you can get to the layer that you want. There it is. Okay, and that is the basics of how I make a thumbnail. Hope that helps.